This is the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus. 3 horsepower equivalent electric outboard. I'm going to try to do a really cool transition here where I'm sitting in the same spot with the camera the same way and I'm running the Remigo One. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's a little too hard to do all this by myself. But I do have the Remigo One sitting right here. In this video, I'm going to compare the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus against the Remigo One, because both of them are about 3 horsepower equivalent electric outboard motors. They're both about $3,000 right now in the US. As you may know, I've had this ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus for maybe almost 2 years now. It's definitely well over a year. It's probably 2 years. I like it a lot, I've used it a lot. The honeymoon is over. I've used it, I've left it set, I've taken breaks from it, come back and forth with it. I got the Remigo One a few months ago, and I wanted to wait till the honeymoon was over with that as well, so this review could be as unbiased as possible. I'm not going to try to recommend one over the other to you, because I actually have discount codes and deals with Tiny Boat Nation to sell this one, and I believe Tiny Boat Nation sells that one as well, but I also have deals to buy that directly. So you can get 5% discount, and of course, you know, it helps me whenever you purchase these things. So this video today is just to try to help you decide which one of these might be right for you. And I'll talk about their distinctive features and their pros and their cons. Hi. I think I just snuck up on a fish. Heard a whole lot of fluttering right in front of the boat there. And there's a snake in the water right there. Or something. Something popped up out of the water. So for all of this video where I'm talking like this on camera, I've got the microphone right here, so you can hear the sound of this motor. Right now I'm running this at 74 watts, and you can hear a little bit of a hum. I believe the Remigo One is a little bit louder. When we test that, you judge for yourself. It is a little bit louder, I think, but it's not loud. It's not like Hankai loud. There's a lot of similarities between these two and a lot of very, I think, important differences. So for example, the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus is essentially 2 components. You've got the motor base and the battery unit. So when you go to load it on your boat, other than the magnetic kill switch, you've just got 2 things that you've got to carry. And then you have to use this connection cable to connect the motor to the battery. And the battery floats. The battery's proprietary, and it uses a conventional tiller throttle control right here. So you can turn it one way for forward, the other way for back. It's a balanced motor. It has a nice feel. But remember, these are 3 horsepower equivalent motors with not a huge amount of range unless you're going low speed. However, one of the distinct advantages with the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus is that you can use it with a secondary battery. So this one is, I believe, a 28 amp hour battery. And if you buy a extension cable that ePropulsion and Tiny Boat Nation sell, then you can use a third-party 48 volt battery. So I have a few of those now, and that allows me to double or triple my range depending on how many batteries I bring with me, which means I can go out for hours and hours with this 3 horsepower electric and a cable running back and forth all day long if I want to. So that's one of those case situations that knowing what your use case is, whether that's important to you. Because quite frankly, with a lot of these, I've just come down my creek. And if you are going from a place where you're got your boat anchored to shore and back, you can do that several times with one of these, with these batteries, without needing a secondary battery or a backup system. So really it depends on what you're using one of these for. Matter of fact, I've traveled quite a bit just on this battery many times where I've brought like another motor or something else with me just to try things out. And it's always been fine. Another thing that's sort of splitting hairs is top speed. Here's the top speed estimates for both of these motors. And quite frankly, it's very subtle, the differences in top speed. And as you probably know with these electric outboards, if you're not running at the top speed, you get a lot more runtime and a lot more range. So I'm not even all the way cranked up just yet. By the way, if you're liking this video, please be sure to give it a like down below. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe link. It really does help this video get noticed by more people who it's appropriate for. And also, if you're considering a channel membership, check out the videos I have under my channel members. I have several videos. A lot of them are behind the scenes things. You're not missing out on anything if you don't become a channel member. But if you do become a channel member, I have ad-free behind the scenes videos that many people, quite frankly, aren't interested in watching, but some of you might be, and I do appreciate all my channel members. There are a lot of competitors now in the 3 horsepower electric outboard range. You've got Torqeedo, Newport, who makes their NT300, the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus, now the Remigo One, and I think there's one by Parson, and I think Elco has just come out with one as well. But a lot of people seem to think that the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus is sort of the benchmark in terms of quality, quietness, and just how it operates. And I agree. I've had a Newport NT300. I've got the Remigo One. I like both of those other motors a lot. I gave away my Newport NT300 a year ago, so I don't have that to compare with this stuff anymore. But I still feel that the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus is the benchmark in this range. I mean, here we are full throttle. It's vibration free. It's almost completely silent. And it pushes a small boat along decently. Once again, you're not using this to go out to sea or go out for, 10-hour trips, but it does fine. I've been very pleased with this motor. So now let's switch to the Remigo One. Yes, I swapped motors out here in the middle of the river. Do I recommend doing that? No. No, I do not. The Remigo One, how it differs from the ePropulsion is you don't have to connect a cable to the battery. You just drop it on, put in the locking pin, and then as soon as you put the safety lanyard on, it fires up and it shows you your battery life. My battery is fully charged. And then there's these 2 buttons here. That's how you operate the motor, or you can get this optional remote, which also fits on the end of the handle, but it's 2 buttons no matter what. So forward and reverse, and each time you hit one of the buttons, it speeds up and or slows things down. We're running about half speed right now. As you can hear, it is louder than the ePropulsion. I hope the microphone's picking that up. But it's not prohibitively loud. Let's go top speed. and then hitting both buttons simultaneously shuts it off. Or you can hit the other button, which backs off the speed 1 notch at a time. It's really not that hard to adjust to. The rudder design of the Remigo One makes it feel a little different in the water. The shaft of the ePropulsion Spirit is very similar, but for some reason, this one being a little bit longer, thicker, I don't know, but it definitely has a bit more solid rudder feel to it, which I like. Because also when you shut the motor off, you've got a lot more steering control. So that's nice. But with the Remigo One, you've only got an integrated battery. So the battery is inside of the housing. It's not user serviceable. It's not accessible. I don't even know how you would take apart this motor assembly to get to the battery. And basically, you're committed to that battery. There is no external battery option at this time. I'm not sure how they even would make that work. They probably would have to redesign it and call it the Remigo 2. I can tell you, I have been out several trips with this motor running at various speeds, and I've been surprised at how long the battery has lasted. It actually seems to last a lot longer than I would expect it to. And I like the simplicity of this display. The ePropulsion gives you more information on the display, but how many of us actually need to know how many watts we're using? With this, the blue lights over here show me what throttle speed I'm at, whether I'm going forward and reverse, and the green bar is my battery life. And right now I've got 100% battery life. If you want this optional remote with the Remigo One, or solar or any of those other kinds of things, that costs more money. And basically what that does is that fits on the end here, and then that puts your forward and reverse buttons right here instead of reaching up here, which is pretty cool. Might as well do that right now, huh? I think you hit both buttons to turn it on. I don't know if I got this charged up. Usually whenever it's charged up and I do this, it'll shut it off. So I don't think this is charged up right now. So we can't use that today. I don't find the buttons, to say, particularly hard to use at all. Here's another one of the very distinct differences between the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus and the Remigo One. They only make one shaft length Remigo One. And it's adjustable, not easily, but it's adjustable for whatever size your transom is. So that's kind of nice. It's very simple, and once you make the adjustments to fit it on the transom of your particular boat, you're done, if you only use it on that boat. So with the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus, you need to buy the right shaft length. And I believe they make 3 different shaft lengths. I think there's an extra short, a short, and a long. So you need to buy the right shaft length for your boat. But let's say you have a 14-foot boat that's old and junky and you're trying out, and you upgrade 6 months or a year from now to a boat with a slightly different transom length. You're going to have to get rid of your ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus. But if you have the Remigo One, you can just readjust it for that transom, because this is very adjustable for different transom lengths. And that, once again, may be something that's valuable to you. I also like the fact that there's no additional cables with this. Not that I've had any problems with my ePropulsion battery cable, but because it has that cable, that's another possible point that could corrode or have some issues and problems. And on some of the ePropulsion forums, I do hear people talk about problems with the cables and connecting to the battery. So that is something to consider, especially if you're in a saltwater environment and your stuff is getting rained on a lot or exposed to salt water a lot. Both of these are saltwater rated electric outboards, so they are for use in brackish waters and salt waters and things like that. Quite honestly, for me, I use both of these motors pretty equally right now. I like to take the ePropulsion whenever I'm going to be out longer and going farther, because I can bring a backup battery with me and a cable. So I throw another battery in and a cable, and then I don't have to even think about my range and my runtime. If I'm going out for a short cruise around the creek or to go out to the island to see what's going on, this works just fine. As you can see, I still got a full battery, and we've come from all the way back there. Let's look at some of the numbers for both of these motors before we get any further with this. The ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus is a 1 kilowatt, 3 horsepower equivalent brushless motor. The battery capacity is 1,276 watt hours. The battery is removable and it's compatible with external 48 volt batteries. It offers, according to their website and stuff, 22 nautical miles of range at 25% throttle, maybe 4 miles an hour, and 7.8 nautical miles at full power. The Remigo One is also a 1 kilowatt, 3 horsepower equivalent electric outboard. The integrated battery is 1,085 watt hours, and it's in the shaft, so it's a slightly smaller battery. The range varies from 5 to 20 miles, depending on the speed and the power and the current. Weight and portability. So the ePropulsion total weight is, according to this, 42.6 pounds. So that's 23.4 pounds for the shaft and 19.2 pounds for the battery. Now remember, it comes in different shaft lengths, so that varies. The removable battery means that it's lighter weight when handling the motor and the battery separately. In other words, at any one time, you're not carrying that much weight. However, the Remigo One entire unit only weighs 26 pounds plus 6 pounds for the bracket, which is 32 pounds total, which is less than the ePropulsion Spirit Plus. So if weight is very important to you, the Remigo One is much lighter. And the lightweight and compact one-piece design makes it very easy to carry and install. You can leave that little bracket on the transom, and all you're doing is carrying the motor and dropping it on there. So let's look at the design and build. The Spirit 1.0 Plus has a traditional tiller for your throttle. It has a removable battery that floats, and it supports hydrogeneration if you get the Evo model. What that means is if you're running it on a boat that has another propulsion system, like a sailboat, when you leave it in the water and the motor is off and you're sailing, when you get up to enough speed, that will spin the prop, which will regenerate electricity into the battery, which is pretty cool. Granted, it probably doesn't regenerate much, but the fact that that is a potential option for some people, I think is neat. The Remigo One has this innovative rudder-style aluminum unibody with its internal battery and simplified mechanics. Controls via just 2 simple buttons on top, and the tiller just steers. It has an adjustable shaft length that is, once again, almost infinitely adjustable for 15 to 23 inches. And it's a very rugged build. I mean, everything on this is solid. The prices are almost completely the same right now with the way the tariffs and everything like that are going. The ePropulsion is a Chinese product, and the Remigo One comes from Estonia. Now, it might be made from some Chinese components, but its origin, the country where it comes from, is Estonia, so Europe. So when it comes down to which one is best, I think it's which one is best for you. The Remigo One is lightweight. If you leave the little transom bracket on your boat, all you got to do is pick the motor on and off. You can store it a lot of places. I actually just leave it on the back seat of my truck sometimes. I've set it on the sofa before. Not that my wife likes that, but I've done that. The Remigo One is all self-contained. It's very easy to operate. The 2-button control. It's simple, it's elegant. I like it a lot. But it's a little bit louder. It doesn't support an external battery. Adjusting it for different length transoms is a bit of a project, the way that the bracket works. You would think it would be really loose, but it's actually really, really tight. And it's a project to loosen that up, to adjust it, but once you've got it adjusted, you don't need to ever do it again. So it's a great motor. The ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus is also a great motor. I like the fact you can use an external battery. I like the quietness of it. I like the, I don't know, there's a lot of things about it to like. I would say that it feels more solid than the Remigo One, but the Remigo One is almost entirely metal. There's nothing plastic on it. There's a lot of plastic on the ePropulsion Spirit 1.0 Plus. But as I mentioned, it's smoother, it's quieter. It also has a traditional style handle throttle control. Some people do not like the push buttons on the Remigo One. I find myself once in a while doing this. Don't know if you can see, but I find myself sometimes going to grab the handle, and my wife would say it is what it is, but they're both good. Now, depending on your use case, where you're going and what kind of boating you're doing, because they're a similar budget, and they've both been made for a few years, so it's not like either of them are brand new. The Remigo One is relatively new to the US market, but it's been available in Europe and other parts of the world for years. Matter of fact, in a future video, I'm going to show how you can solar charge the Remigo One with a solar charge kit. And I think the ePropulsion has one as well. But the one I have is the one for the Remigo One. So I'll be doing that in a video very soon. Maybe I'll do it after I'm done this trip today, because I think I've run down enough bars on it. Not many, but I've run down enough that I can watch it solar charge. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Here's the next video YouTube has picked for you. It's a good one. You should go check that out, and I'll see you in that video.